Hi everyone, and welcome to our Facebook forecast. I'm Meteorologist Caitlin Roth. We haven't done one of these in a while as everyone's been on vacation and we're just kind of getting back into the routine of things. So here we go with a weekend forecast in September. We are now approaching the third weekend in September. That is so crazy. So hopefully everyone's back to the routine, work and school, and getting ready for some nice weather. We've certainly had a great change this week. Severe weather on Monday and a lot of humidity leading up to that, but we've seen a really good change. Starting on Tuesday, we've had really nice days and even some cool, crisp mornings. So kind of has that early fall feeling in the air for us. So with that being said, though, we are going to take a turn in a bit of a different direction for your weekend and beyond as we wind down the summer season. That is the other thing. It is the last weekend of summer. So even though we had Labor Day weekend and meteorological fall began, we are still counting down to fall, which begins in 6 days. So that is Thursday. That's the autumnal equinox. And if you're excited about that, I'm right there with you. Always ready for a new season. Definitely fall is, it always feels like it takes a while to arrive here because we will be well into September and still feels really warm like it's going to this weekend and into next week. So yeah, autumnal equinox will begin just as it's going to start to feel really hot outside. 77 in DC right now. It's very comfortable. 76 in Manassas, 77 in Dulles, 75 in Quantico, 72 in Annapolis, and 77 in Baltimore. Those are temperatures. I want to show dew points, which has been the big change through this week. Much cooler, drier air has pushed through, and so we've really seen that reduction of humidity. And when you only have dew points in the 50s, it feels rather comfortable. So that should continue at least through tomorrow. A little hazy out there this afternoon as I'm kind of looking outside and seeing that the sky is a little milky white. That is not from humidity, and I'm actually wondering if it has anything to do with the wildfire smoke out west, because that would inhibit us from having a beautiful bright blue sky day, which it looks like is happening at the moment. So interesting to note right there. This is your humidity tracker, which also causes things to look a little hazy, and that is definitely on the increase through the weekend, so Saturday and Sunday, and then really spiking there late on Monday before tailing off a bit Tuesday into Wednesday. But we are calling it summer's revenge next week because whether you like it or not, temperatures are going to feel pretty hot, and just like we're back in the middle of the summer. I don't think, well, I don't know. I don't think the humidity will be as bad. Usually this time of year it's dialed down a bit, but it certainly can still be a little unpleasant. Beautiful weather for cuddling, says Chris. I don't know that we're there yet. I mean, it has been, let's say that, with these cooler mornings, but for the most part, we're going back in the needing the air conditioning direction. Bonnie says this is boring. I know. I got tagged in this because I live in California. Yeah, the weather has been, I guess you could say, a little boring in a good way, in that it's been very quiet out there. So, right. Summer's revenge. Oops, let me just get my graphics again. There we go. Summer's revenge next week. So we are going to be talking about warming temperatures through the weekend, and then possibly even a heat wave, if you can believe that, into next week. So heat wave is 3 days in a row of 90 plus, and I think we actually have a good shot of doing that, so stay tuned. Okay, there's SatRad, and you know, nothing really showing up. The cloud cover out there is super subtle, which makes me think, yeah, it might actually be related to the smoke, because I'm not seeing any actual clouds on radar. Sometimes with a more detailed satellite, you can pick up on that plume of smoke, but I think that it will be, you know, a totally dry day. It just might be a little bit hazy, and probably continue that way through the evening. Here's a look at your weekend. So hopefully everyone has some fun plans. I know it's kind of like the summer is over, but at the same time, the weather's still warm. So if you're lucky enough to still have a pool open, it's actually perfect pool weather weekend. great to go to the beach, honestly, too. You know, the beach is so fabulous in September because around here it's still warm, the water's still warm, it's a little less crowded, but yeah, that is the setup for the weekend. High pressure just off to the east, and plenty of sunshine with temperatures in the 80s. Like I said, I think it'll still be fairly comfortable for tomorrow in the mid 80s, but by Sunday, more of a hot feel with those temperatures closer to 90 degrees. So turning around high pressure centered over Bermuda is going to have an impact and bring in more of that southerly flow, which will heat things up. So here's your weekend forecast. 84 for Saturday, 88 on Sunday. Sunday is going to be hot, and with a little bit of humidity creeping back in, probably noticeably hot for the rest of the weekend. So like I said, from there we are just going to kind of increase, which may or may not be your cup of tea. Extended outlook keeps that bubble of warmth, that real heat, right over the southeastern United States. So that's our 6 to 10 day outlook, meaning starting 6 days from now. Above normal temperatures will return to the eastern half of the country because we're considered just about at normal right now. But above normal, which the redder it is, the darker the shading, means the more extreme above normal, is expected to kind of center itself along the eastern half of the country in the 6 to 10, and then possibly again in the 10 to 14. So that looks a little bit better. It looks like we kind of return right to about normal for the 8 to 14, which means we'll have this hot spell, and then temperatures will kind of, you'll be looking at highs in the 70s as we get into late September, the last week of September, which is considered normal for us to have highs in the 70s. Right now, the normal high is about 81. I want to talk about Fiona because we do have a tropical system. As you may have heard us talk about, it's been a really quiet hurricane season, no complaints there. We're actually past peak hurricane season day and almost past the week. And we're only at the A, B, C, D, E, F, 6th named storm. And 3 of those happened way early in the season, like before the 4th of July. So since the 4th, we've only had 3 storms. They were all in September. We dealt with Earl and Danielle in the beginning of the month. We didn't even really deal with them. They had 0 impact on the United States, but they were 2 hurricanes out in the middle of the Atlantic, and Fiona's out there in the middle of the Atlantic too as a tropical storm. A poorly organized and fairly weak tropical storm. Winds are at 50 miles an hour with gusts to 65, moving west at 14 miles an hour. But Fiona is actually going to be impacting some land because it is moving westward, and it's moving right towards the Leeward Islands. So tropical storm warnings are out for most of those islands, and that does include places like St. Thomas and St. John and Antigua and Barbados. And it looks like most of Puerto Rico is under a tropical storm warning, if not a tropical storm watch. So the watch is in yellow. That's kind of like fringe impacts, but the tropical storm warning is out now for the whole island of Puerto Rico, as it looks like that storm is going to kind of cross the leewards and then cut just south of Puerto Rico and then traverse Hispaniola, which the National Hurricane Center has Fiona increasing as it reemerges from Hispaniola, which is interesting because that's a landmass that's not very forgiving to tropical systems, meaning it's very mountainous. It tears up those passing tropical storms and hurricanes. It shreds them essentially, and they lose a lot of their intensity. However, the storm will reemerge across warm waters there in the Caribbean and can certainly get reorganized. And that's, I think, what they're picking up on, that early next week, it could possibly be a Category 1 hurricane and maybe impacting islands like the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. So everyone in the Caribbean has to be on alert. Tropical storm impacts, obviously, not as big of a deal as hurricane. It goes up from impact from there, but rain and wind and a good dousing for a lot of our Caribbean islands. And then the big question is going to be, where does Fiona go from there, especially if Fiona is starting to intensify out across those warmer waters. And NHC, National Hurricane Center, shows these spaghetti plots, this variety of models, and they are mostly, oops, just lost that. Let's see if we can go back. They are mostly taking everything to the north. Oh great, we can go through all these again. Well, let's not do that. So basically all of the models are turning the storm through the Atlantic and away from the United States. So at this point, no impact on the U.S. is expected, no impact on Florida is expected if that track continues. So we hope that's the case. Certainly would like to get through a whole hurricane season unscathed. And I think that it'll just be something we have to watch as we head into early next week to see what Fiona's ultimate track will be. But the model consensus is to turn it northward, back out into the Atlantic, and stay away from the U.S. All right, there's your 7-day, and this is the sort of warmth I was talking about. As you can see it kind of building. So 85 Saturday, 88 Sunday, and then we're back in the 90s, and this is 90-plus weather. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday, the autumnal equinox will probably be 90 degrees, so we've been roasting all week as we welcome in fall. And then maybe by Friday, temperatures are a little bit cooler, but still considered above normal. So yeah, it is, it's going to get hot before it gets cool. I know a lot of people are looking forward to fall and all that the season brings, but it's really kind of hard to enjoy it when you're sweating. So air conditioners will still be on full blast all week. Look at those low temperatures getting up to 70 degrees. It tells me it's probably pretty humid still, and we're just going to have to bear with it. I feel like this is always the case around here every year. It's like wonderful to be here and it's not, and it just takes a while. So thank you guys all for watching this forecast, and I think the best advice would be to enjoy the weekend because it's actually a dry, sunny, beautiful weekend, and remember to be patient if you're anxious for fall. It's going to come eventually, but not right now, and certainly not on time with the autumnal equinox next Thursday. So yeah, keep the summer vibes going, right? It is the last weekend of summer. Barbecuing, pools, beaches, fun outside. And as we get back to work and school there on Monday, it'll still be hot. But the bottom line is that is a dry forecast. We've had a wet summer. I mean, not abnormally wet, but we've certainly had our share of rain and storms and humidity. So nice to at least take a break from that. I mean, aside from a stray shower on Tuesday, it doesn't look like we will have much going on. So yeah, that is the forecast, and hopefully you guys all have a good weekend. Whoa. Hopefully you guys all have a good weekend. We will be back on the air at 4 o'clock here on Fox 5. Mike Thomas and myself talking about the forecast all evening. I think we're going to be live outside just because it has been so nice, and we've been enjoying being able to do some outside weather this week. So yeah, join us for the news starting at 4 p.m. Otherwise, have a great weekend and stay cool into next week.